If we haven't met yet, I am Cindy, and I'm one of the instructors here for the town of Morinville. Tonight's class will be a Hatha yoga. As for equipment, ideally a yoga mat, and some water. If you have other chairs or props, cozies for later, or blocks or whatever else, feel free to grab them. As always, prior to starting any fitness or exercise program with the town of Morinville, we ask that you consult your physician. In choosing to participate in this virtual video, you're doing so at your own risk, and you acknowledge that any physical activity has inherent risks of physical injury, and even more so if you have a history of health problems or any previous injuries. If at any time during the class you feel discomfort, dizziness, nausea, or pain, please stop immediately, seek medical attention if required. The town of Morinville and its affiliates are hereby released of any liability or claims resulting from the failure to comply with these warnings or the instructional advice provided. So before we get started, please double check your mic has been muted, that you have a safe amount of room to safely move around. And we'll get started right away. We're going to start seated tonight. So just take a moment and find yourself in a comfortable seated position. We'll just begin by becoming aware of our physical body on the mat. Noticing our sit bones grounding down into the earth and lengthening through our spine, drawing the crown of our head up toward the ceiling. Breathing in deeply through our nose and exhaling completely through nose or mouth. Just taking a few breaths like this at your own pace. Perhaps noticing a little bit of a vibration in the back of your throat. That is your ocean breath or your ujjayi breath. Just helps to stimulate our vagal nerve, which also helps to tap into our parasympathetic nervous system. That is our rest and digest. Start with a few gentle neck rolls, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders back and down, breathing in, allowing the head to fall to one side, and just working within your own range of motion here, dropping the chin towards the chest, and then over to the other side. Breathing in, breathing out. Do a couple more on each side, always continuing to breathe. And just balancing things out on the right and the left side, and then coming back through a neutral spine. Take a breath in, allow the shoulders to rise up towards the ears, and on the exhale, just let it relax. Breathing in, lifting those shoulders up, shrugging the shoulders up nice and high. Exhale, relax the shoulders down. One more time, breathe in, shoulders are coming up. Exhale, let it all go. We're going to take a lateral lean. Take a breath in. We'll send our right arm high. I realize I'm probably facing you and mirroring you. So if you're on the other side, it doesn't matter. Take a breath in, reach high. Exhale, lean towards the left side of the room. If you need more, feel free to come on to forearm. And then just send breath into that right side body. Breathing in, breathing out. Continuing to ground down through your sit bones, pushing that right side, especially down towards the earth. Using your obliques to lift. One more breath in. Exhale, let it go. On your next inhale, coming back through center. We'll do the other side next. Take a breath in, left arm comes up. Exhale, take a lean to the right side of the room. Just staying within your own range of motion here, working with breath. Breathing in, lengthening. Exhale, softening and stretching. Pushing that left sit bone down towards the earth. Let's find a couple more breaths here. Beautiful. Take a breath in as we come back up. Roll the shoulders back and down. We'll come into a forward fold. So you can stay in a cross-legged position. I personally like to separate my legs a little bit because my hips are quite tight. You could also try sitting on a cushion or a block to elevate your hips. Take a breath in to lengthen, then exhale, start to walk your hands forward until you start to feel a bit of a stretch into your back and into your hips. Now, if it feels better to extend both legs out in front or to bring the soles of the feet together into butterfly, feel free to take what feels right for you. Let's relax the neck and shoulders and just find a few breaths here. Breathing into both sides of the body. Exhale, letting it go. When you're ready, coming back through center. If your legs are crossed, please take the other leg in front. Or you can choose again staff or butterfly if that feels better. Take a breath in, lengthen the spine. Take a breath out, start hinging forward from the hips. Again, until you notice that stretch into your hips and back. Relax the shoulders and the neck. Shake the head no and yes. On the inhale, coming back through center, taking the feet to the floor. And your knees about hip distance here. So I'll turn to the side so hopefully you can see a little bit better. So it's kind of a version of a cat-cow. So on the inhale, we're sending our chest toward the front of the room. Gaze looks forward. On the exhale, we're rounding through the spine, tucking the chin. Breathing in as we lengthen and extend. Gaze can come up. And exhaling as we flex and round our spine. Let's do one more of each. And then I'll meet you in a neutral spine where our head is in line with our shoulders, our back is straight. From here, we're going to round through the spine, and then I'll turn back this way into a bit of ab work. So getting into our obliques here, you can either stay just like that, or you can let go with the hands and then just gently start twisting side to side. Noticing how that feels into the back, into the obliques. Let's try and do just 3 more on each side, alternating right and left. And then coming back through center and finding our tabletop position where our wrists are under our shoulders and our knees are under our hips. And then from here, we'll take our quadruped cat cow. So breathing in, raising our chest toward the front of the room, and then exhale, tucking our chin, rounding through the spine. Beautiful. We'll do about 4 or 5 of each, noticing that stretch in the front and back side of our body as we continue to breathe and articulate through our spine. Beautiful. One more of each to finish up, and then I'll meet you in a neutral spine. From here, coming onto our knees, and then tucking our hands as if we had back pockets. If that feels like too much on your shoulders, feel free to turn your hands to the front of the room. That sometimes can ease that up a little bit. Take a breath in here, lengthen through the spine, and then rather than thinking about doing this amazing back bend, we're not here to try and do gymnastics. If you're super flexible, feel free. Think about sending your chest to the front of the room and your gaze up toward the ceiling. Noticing that stretch into the front of your shoulders and your chest. Continuing to squeeze the shoulder blades together as if you were trying to touch your elbows behind you. Don't worry if they can't touch. Mine are not even anywhere close. I don't even know if that's possible. Finding another breath here. And then coming back to center, gaze to the front of the room. We're going to try a side gaze. So let's move into our tabletop first. And then we'll extend our left leg to the side of the room. If you're on the other side, it doesn't matter. We'll do both sides. Extending one leg long. And then from here, just start to walk your way back up until you're into a nice straight spine. Now, if that feels like enough of a stretch in your inner thighs, feel free to stick with that. If you want to add a little bit more core work here, take a breath in. So I've got my left leg. I'm using my left arm. So it's same arm as leg, taking a breath. And then reaching toward the side of the room. You might want to reach for the floor or block. And then using your core, your obliques, take a breath in here and then windmill back up. Beautiful. So just flowing through that a few times. Moving at your own pace with your own breath. Noticing how that feels. Last one here. And then whenever you're ready, coming back to a tall spine, we'll sit back into a child's pose. So I'm going to choose to leave my legs exactly as they are and stretch out my adductors. So I'm sitting my hips back over my heels, reaching my arms forward. Now you might feel that stretch right away in your inner thigh. Just work into your own range of motion. If you honestly find that too much, feel free to bring your knees back underneath your hips and then just sit back into a regular child's pose. Find some breath here. And feel free to go as wide as you want with those knees if you're in a child's pose. Find some breath. Sitting those hips back. Breathing in. Breathing out. Let's find one more full inhale to a count of 4. And exhale to a count of 4. And then on your inhale, slowly come back up. Find tabletop position. Maybe shift the hips a little bit side to side. Notice how you're feeling. And then we'll take the opposite leg out to the side. So I'm coming into my right side. And then I'm bringing my spine up nice and tall. So from here, breath in, right leg, right arm. Or if you're on the other side, same arm as leg. Exhale as we lean over that bent knee. Inhale when you're ready to come back using those obliques. Again, feel free to find stillness or movement, whatever feels better for you tonight. Let's do one more breath here. And then when you're ready, coming back to a neutral spine and sitting back into child's pose on this side with the same option. So you can leave that leg long and get that stretch into the inner thigh. That can feel a little bit intense. If it's too much, go back to a child's pose. Sitting those hips back over the heels, reaching those arms out in front, and breathing. Beautiful. Whenever you're ready to move, plant the hands, come up through tabletop position, And then tuck the toes under, send the hips high into down dog. I'm just gonna experiment tonight and turn my mat on an angle and see if that helps with me being able to speak to you and demonstrate at the same time. So hands are under the wrists, hips are up high, you can pedal out the legs. Beautiful, whenever you're ready, let's send the right leg high into three-legged dog. Bend the knee, flex the foot, open that hip to the side of the room. Take your gaze to your hands, come back through down dog, and then walk or hop your feet forward, finding a forward fold. So legs can be as wide as you need. Finding the floor, or maybe your elbows. Relax your neck and shoulders. Sway side to side if that feels good. Find some breath. And then root down through your feet, take a breath in. Chest rises, arms lift up overhead. We'll get to the other side here. Eventually, hands through heart center. Don't worry, I won't forget. Let's sit the hips back into chair. And let's twist so our right elbow is coming over to the outside of the left knee. Pushing the hips back. Yeah, if you're on the other side, again, it doesn't matter. We are going to do the other side on the next round. So don't worry so much about right and left. Beautiful. Unwinding, finding forward fold. Hands under your shoulders, stepping back into your plank. So it could be a high plank, or you could modify and take it to your knees, or you could stay in forward fold if that feels good. You're gonna move through a flow. If you're happy where you are, feel free to stay. If you want to join me, inhale to push the floor away. Exhale to lower your chest to the mat. Inhale to cobra, extending that chest toward the front of the room, extending the arms, and then tuck the toes under and push the hips high into down dog. Beautiful. From here, let's send our left leg to the sky. Bend the left knee, flex the foot, and open the hip to the side of the room. That's beautiful. Again, take your gaze to your hands and start walking or hopping your feet to the front of the mat and find a forward fold. Find some breath here. Relaxing into that fold. Let's let the arms be heavy. Softening the knees, take a breath in, come into half lift or monkey with a nice straight spine. Hands are sliding up the shins. Exhale, folding. Reaching for the floor, bend the knees, step or hop back into your version of plank. Again, if forward fold feels like where you want to stay, by all means. Breathe in, push the floor away. Exhale, lower the chest to the mat. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Feel free to come up a little higher if that feels okay. Exhale, toes tuck, hips rise, down dog. Taking the gaze to the hands, walk or hop the feet forward to the front of the room, finding forward fold. Head is heavy, knees are soft, breathe in. Take your gaze forward as the arms rise overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Sitting the hips back into chair. Turning and twisting the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. If you were on the other side last time, Just make sure you're on the second side. Push the hands together, line up the knees, find some breath. Beautiful. Let's find forward fold, unwinding, letting the arms be heavy. Perhaps sliding the hands underneath the feet, under those toes, and stretching out the front of the arms into gorilla. Beautiful. When you're ready, release the hands. Take a soft bend in the knees. Breathe in, reverse swan. Arms reach overhead. Exhale here, find mountain pose. Rotating those shoulders back and away from the ears. Hands are facing the front of the room. Feel free to open and close the fingers a few times. Maybe grab a sip of water. And we'll reset for our next sequence. All right, so I'm going to warn you now, there is a half moon involved, so if you want a chair or block or something handy, it might not be a bad thing to grab. If you're familiar with half moon, basically it's an open balancing posture. So anytime we're open where the same arm and leg are open, it leaves us a lot more vulnerable to instability. So heads up, you've been warned. We'll find mountain pose where our feet are about hip distance. Spread all 10 toes wide. Take a breath in, we'll send those arms up overhead. Exhale here, swan dive forward, hinge from the hips. Inhale, when you're ready, slide the hands up the front of your legs into a half lift. Exhale, fold, soften the knees, step back into your version of plank. Could be here, could be from the knees, whatever you need. Take a breath in, push the floor away. Exhale, lower the chest towards the floor. Inhale here, cobra or up dog. Exhale, toes tuck, hips rise, down dog. Noticing those heels maybe coming a little closer toward the floor now that we're a little more warmed up. Take a breath in, send the right leg high into three-legged dog. And then when you're ready, gaze to your hands, take a step forward with that right foot, and then come on up into warrior two. So your right foot is facing the front of the room. Yeah, you can kind of walk your way up there or however you need to get there. And then slide your left foot towards the back end of the mat. So your left foot's parallel to the back edge. Your front knee is bent and you're imagining a wall behind that front knee. So watch that it's not coming in. You're pushing it open and finding warrior two. Arms can rise, palms down, shoulder height. Gaze over that front arm. Relax the shoulders. Beautiful. From here, we're going to move into extended side angle. So nothing new here tonight. Just leave the legs as they are. Take a breath in, windmill the right arm down, and that left arm high. You can either rest that right arm on your leg, or you can choose to extend the arm long, or maybe this is where your block comes in handy. Perhaps you're looking for a bind. From here, this is where our half moon comes in, so hopefully you're ready for this. Take a breath in, come up to warrior two, and then we're going to transfer all of our weight into our front leg. You can slide that back leg in a tiny bit, and then from here, we're going to play around. If you want to grab onto a block or a wall or a chair, something like that, you can. So the idea here is to open to the left side of the room. So left leg can rise, perhaps the left arm. It's really hard to balance and watch you all, but you look amazing. Beautiful. Find a couple more breaths there in our half moon. Good. One more inhale. Exhale, let it go. And then let's take our hands to our hips. And we can just windmill back out of there. Go ahead and find the top of your mat. It doesn't need to be graceful. First night together on the half moon. Let's find mountain pose. We'll do the other side. In the future, we may have something a little bit more complicated. Tonight, we'll stick with just that. Take a breath in. I don't want to throw everything at you all at once here. Take a breath in, up overhead. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, monkey, straight spine. Exhale, folding, moving into our flow. On the other side, step back to plank. Breathe in, push the floor away. Exhale, lower the chest to the mat. Inhale, cobra up dog. Lengthening through the front side of the body. Exhale, toes tuck, down dog. Beautiful, gaze to the hands. Left leg rises this time. Three-legged dog on the other side. And then gaze to your hands. Walk your left foot to the front of the mat. And windmill into warrior two on the other side. I'm just going to turn around so I'm still facing you. So we're on the other side. Left foot is facing forward. Right leg back. Hips open to the side of the room. Bend the front knee. Extend the arms long. Palms down. Gaze over that left arm. Beautiful. Finding extended side angles. So legs stay where they are. Windmill the left arm low, right arm high. All right, and then into our half moon. So you can either windmill back into warrior two or just heel toe that right foot a little closer. Bringing the left arm under the shoulder. Opening to the right side. Right leg lifting. Right arm opening. Doing our best not to topple over. Noticing how things are going on this side. Without judging, just noticing sometimes one side feels a little bit easier. Sometimes it's an ankle stability issue or something else too that might be happening. All right, one last breath there. And then whenever you're ready, take a breath in, unwind again. It doesn't need to be graceful. We'll find mountain pose. Oh, how are we feeling here, team? Beautiful. Grab a sip of water if you like. We're going to stay standing. We'll do a couple more balancing poses, and then we'll flow and make our way back down to the floor for some stretching and relaxing. All right, so if you'd like to have a wall or a chair or something to hang on to for the balancing work, by all means, feel free. Ideally, something stable. Please don't pull over your partner or your animal or whoever's there. Take a breath in. We'll root down to the right leg. Starting to peel our left heel off the floor. If that's enough, feel free to stay there. If you want more, start to hug that left knee in toward the chest. You can either use both hands, or you can keep one on your hip, or you can use that opposite hand to grab onto something stable if you wish. From here, let's rotate the ankle a few times, each direction. Beautiful. And then from here, we'll bring that knee down and we'll turn the hip to the side of the room. So we're still on that same side. Moving into a tree pose, so either keeping the toes down or finding the inside of the leg, below or above the knee. You can find some branches if you like. One more inhale, lengthening up toward the ceiling. Exhale, just let it go. Find the floor with both feet. Shake the hips side to side, wiggle out the feet. We'll move on to the other side. So finding the earth with the left foot this time, peeling the right hip up, the right heel off the floor. And then eventually bringing that knee towards the chest if that feels okay. From here, rotating that ankle, going both directions. And then when you're ready, releasing the leg and externally rotating from the hip, moving into tree pose. So again, toes can stay on the ground or you can find the inside of that leg. Find your focus. Find breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, just bringing both feet back down towards the earth. Let's try one more balancing pose here. We'll go back to the first side. So grounding down through that right foot. Let's start to heel our left foot off the floor. We'll take the left hand to the inside of the left knee. If that feels like enough, stay there. If you need to grab onto something, go ahead. Otherwise, try extending that right arm to the side. And then if you still need more, take your gaze over the right shoulder. Maybe you're extending that leg long and reaching for the toe. Finding another breath, lengthening through the back. And then exhale, bringing that knee back through center and then finding the ground. We'll do the other side here right away. I don't know why, but I find the balancing posture is extremely challenging with all of you on my screen. I'm trying to watch you all, not fall over. Ideally, pick something stable to look at when you're trying to balance, not all over the place and not at things that are moving around. All right, so bringing down through the left leg. This time drawing that right foot off the floor, finding the inside of the right knee with the right hand, externally rotating there. If that feels like enough, stay there. Otherwise, extend the left arm long and take the gaze over that left shoulder. Finding another round of breath. And then bringing that knee back to the front. And then finding the earth. Maybe we found our glutes. Let's find mountain pose. Externally rotating the shoulders, fingers spread wide. Here in Tadasana, just take a moment, find breath, notice the feet on the floor. Breathe in, send those arms overhead. Exhale here, swan dive. Hinging from the hips. Breathing in, sliding the hands up the front of the legs. Breathing out, sliding them down, finding the floor, stepping back to plank. Inhale, push the floor away. Exhale, lower the chest to the floor, hug the elbows in tight. Inhale, cobra, up dog, chest rises. Exhale, toes tuck, hips rise, down dog. Just gonna move through a little bit of a flow here. Take your gaze to your hands. Take a step forward with your right foot and find crescent lunge or high lunge. So your hips are square, your front knee is over your ankle, your back heel is lifted. Take a breath in, send the arms high. Exhale, let them go. Reach behind you, maybe for a bind or maybe just onto your hips. Open through the chest and shoulders. If it feels okay for you, hinge forward from the hips. And extend those arms out behind you. Beautiful. Moving with breath, release the arms. Take a breath in, staying through Crescent Lunge or staying lifted. And then exhale, stepping that left foot forward into Mountain Pose. Take a breath in, send the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step back to plank. Breath in, push the floor away. Exhale, when you're ready, lower the chest down to the floor. Breathe in, cobra, up dog. Exhale, toes tuck, hips rise, down dog. Gaze to the hands. This time step forward with your left leg into Crescent Lunge on the other side. So again, hips are square, tuck that tailbone under. Take a breath in, arms can rise. So over here, it's kind of hard to see on this angle. Beautiful. Good, this time we're gonna stay tall. Take a breath in, squeeze the shoulder blades together as we pull the arms down. Inhale, reach and extend. 2 more, exhale, bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Big breath in, exhale, squeezing. Good, this time reaching those arms long out behind and then hinging forward from the hips over that left leg. Pushing that left hip to the back of the room, extending the arms up toward the ceiling, noticing how it's feeling on this side. Beautiful, let's find the floor with our hands, step back into plank. Exhale, lower the knees to the floor. Breath in, push the floor away, exhale. We're just gonna lower down and we're gonna stay here on our tummies, moving into Locust Pose. The legs are extended out long. You can either bend your elbows out to the side of the room and then just place your hands under your forehead, or you can swim the arms so that your palms are facing the side of your legs. Take a breath in. Legs come to hover, chest is coming off the floor, gaze to the front of the room. So gaze just in front of the mat so your head's still in line with your spine. Find a few breaths. Drawing navel towards spine. Big breath in. Exhale, release. You can bend your elbows and then just rest your head on the mat. Maybe bending the knees and windshield wipering the feet a little bit side to side if that feels okay. Beautiful. When you're ready, let's take the hands under the shoulders, push through tabletop position, and then sit the hips back into child's pose. Just allow the breath to be soft. Moving into thread the needle, take a breath in here. Scoop your right arm under your left so your palm is facing the ceiling, and then allow your right cheek to soften down towards the floor. On the next inhale, sending both arms to the front of the room, and then scooping your left arm underneath your right, palm is facing up, and left cheek to the floor. the inhale, coming back through center, finding tabletop position, and then just rolling onto one hip, swinging those legs around in front. Let's scoot our hips towards our heels, and then you can use your hands to guide you. Slowly roll yourself down, all the way down so your head and shoulders are resting on the floor. Beautiful. Walk your heels towards your bum so that you can reach the back of your heels. Rest your head, take a breath in, and then push those hips high into a bridge. You can hold there as long as you like, or you can move with breath. Inhale to come down. Exhale to lift. We're here for 3 more rounds of breath. Beautiful. One more inhale, sending those hips out high to the sky. On the last exhale, allowing the hips to come all the way back to the earth. Hugging the knees towards the chest, or maybe the shoulders if that feels better. Or perhaps grabbing your big toe with your pointer and middle finger, and then coming into happy baby. You can gently rock side to side wherever you're at, if that feels okay on your back. And then slowly bringing one foot at a time back to the mat. Extend the arms out shoulder height like a letter T. Shift your hips to the left side of the mat and allow your knees to fall to the right into a supine spinal twist. Taking your gaze over the left shoulder. Whatever direction your knees are falling, you're looking the opposite direction. Breathing in when you're ready, shifting the knees to center. Hips slide to the right side of the mat, knees fall to the left side of the room. Looking over the right shoulder. And then the knees coming through center. Finding some stillness here in our Shavasana, our final relaxation. Feel free to grab a blanket or something cozy to throw on. Just be here for a couple of minutes, finding some stillness. Letting go of anything that no longer serves you. Just let it go. Deep breaths in. Extra long breaths out. Allowing your hips to feel soft and heavy. Allowing your mind to settle. Feel free to stay as long as you like. If you do feel like you're ready to move, begin with wiggling fingers, toes, circling ankles and wrists. Perhaps reaching the arms overhead. And then slowly and mindfully bending the knees and making your way onto your right side. Using that front hand as a guide, slowly making your way up to any comfortable seated position. Raising those arms overhead, pressing the hands through center. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Super thankful to be offering you these virtual classes from my heart to yours. Namaste.